The Artefactors Union.
Brine and Bones, Nightmare Edition, the Molly core box, but it's pirates, undead pirates. We're gonna start with Mary Blacktongue Bonnet. And here's the art. Here be the render. That's it.
Yeah, that's it.
This is the sprue. Torso and coat. Add the legs. Left arm. Right arm. Back view to pad out my runtime. Next, take your big pirate hat and put whatever the hell the last bit is inside the hat in the direction I've shown. Okay, using the logic part of my brain, that's a parrot skeleton. That makes the most sense. And Don Bonnet's bonnet. Thar she be, Mary Blacktongue Bonnet. This is a ridiculously easy build. The most difficult part is just the parrot skeleton's kind of small. But yeah, that'll look amazing painted up. The Artefactors Union, Brine and Bones, Nightmare Edition. The Molly core box, we're going to be doing her totem, the Wayward Mariner, which counts as the necrotic machine. There's the art. Here is our render. Here's the sprue. This is gonna be a lot tougher. I'm pretty darn certain that the limbs are gonna need to go on last for this guy because it's got so many tiny little bits that are probably gonna be connected all over his body. But some things might actually connect to the limbs, so that's not necessarily the hard rule. We'll just fly by the seat of our pants. Yeah, I found this one I'm going to need to point out every single bit I grab. So this one first, possibly for need of reference, right now the model would be upright and looking at the camera. This one next. That will go right over here. Turn the torso around to the next piece is going to go right here and actually wrap around to the front. Whoops. This is the piece we're talking about. Here you can see it's inserted and it kind of wraps around to the front, become his like chain belt thing. Haha, I was wrong. We're going to attach the limbs next. Left leg, right leg. Pretty straightforward, just make sure they're snug. Left arm is right here. We're going to go ahead and just leave out the anchor till dead last because it's just going to get in the way. And cement it nice and snug. Please note that this coral right here should sort of slot in this coral that's already on his back. I clipped it out before pointing it out on the sprue. This is right arm. Please note that this harpoon thing will be sticking into his chest. And there we go. Alright, next three pieces. First up is the other end of the harpoon, which is sticking out of his back. Then the rope around his neck, which connects to this piece. And then the rope that goes across his back and connects to the right arm, which is also connected to this piece. Shaft piece plugs into these two holes. This one, that one. Like this. Neck rope goes on. See how it connects to the first piece. The last bit that's just a long piece of rope will connect here on his arm, then snake down, go here, here, and here. Okay, kind of difficult to wedge it in right there, but I still think it's better to do the harpoon first as a point of reference. Coral quickfire, up here is the upper right arm, then you have the upper right back, then you have the left butt cheek and the right butt cheek. Upper right arm. Upper right back, make sure not to accidentally cut off the tooth used to connect it. Left butt cheek. Right butt cheek. Last four. Okay. Head. Coral that goes in the back of the head. Great that goes on front of face. And then the anchor. Head. Coral on the back of the head. Great on the front of the face. And the anchor. Make sure, or use the chain to make sure it's lined up correctly. I'll do the reveal in another TikTok, but we're done. Okay. A reveal of the Wayward Mariner. God, this is a pretty sculpt, but it was quite difficult to put together. Key notes, make sure that you get that rope that's looping around his back on before you attempt to do the coral, otherwise it's going to be a lot harder to get in there. And just make sure you're not cutting off any of the connection points you need to. Dry fitting is also your friend, but he's doable, just gotta be cautious. But pretty sculpt. The Artefactors Union, Brine and Bones Nightmare Box. It is the Molly core box, but with pirates. And we're doing Nani and the voice. Here's the artwork. And here's the render. As you can see here, it says counts as Philip and the Nanny. Philip and the Nanny, one of the more, I'd say, iconic Malifaux sculpts. It is just a severed head inside of a pram being pushed by a nanny. And it's cute. Body, front flap, back flap, left arm, and head. There they are, Nani and the voice. You really probably didn't need my help at all to put this together. I guess I could talk about fluffer stuff. Yeah, they're on a 50mm base because the model that they are representing in the game is actually a head inside of a pram being pushed by a zombie. So it's got to be on the same base size. The keyword that this set is based on, the forgotten keyword, is the hashtag not all zombies part of Malifaux. While they're in the Resurrectionists, i.e. Necromancer faction, the Forgotten are just sort of the discarded and masterless zombies kind of wandering around, and Molly picks them up and basically makes a group of friends that she hangs out with. Philip here, or Philip in the pram, she knits hats for him and he likes to talk to her. Her bestie is a big guy named Archie and he loves ice cream. So Malifaux's got a lot of really quirky and interesting characters. The Artefactors Union. Brine and Bones in the Nightmare Edition box, the Molly core box, but pirates, we're going to be doing the Skellywag #1. No artwork on the front. However, our render is this one. This is the whole Skellywag sprue. I can't really clip out the part that matters, so I'm just going to show you. We are concerned with these 3 columns, I guess, of bits. Wild speculation, I'm going to go ahead and guess that if the camera would fucking focus, there. We're going to go with the leggies, add the other leggy, build the torso, put the torso on, do the arms, assemble the head, and call it good. Oh, also there's the back belt down here. Shorties. It'd probably help if I pointed at things. So we've got the shorts. We're going to jam the leg on where the leg goes. Put the sheath on the back of that. Now we're going to grab the coat, ram the ribs into it, put this strap across the front of the chest. Then we're going to do the arms. And lastly, we're going to grab the back of the head, the front of the skull, and the hat. Glue them together and then put them on top. Add the leg. Turn it around. Add the sheath. The connection is a little wobbly, so just set it in a way you like the look of. Grab the coat, give him some ribs. Now belt those ribs into place. This hole is where the spine from the legs will go. And here's the angle you're looking for. Honestly, it looks weird, but I'm pretty sure he's stabbing with his left hand. Speaking of left hand, he's not stabbing with it. Maybe he's about to thrust with the right hand? Add the right arm. Yeah, I'm going to go with about to stab with this thing. Okay, the hat is a little wonky. The face and bandana are going to sort of straddle this peg here. You're looking at the right side of the hat. You can tell because it has these notches. The other side doesn't have any notches. Carefully clip and clean the skull and glue it on like so. Now I just do the last bit, the bandana / back of the skull. And add the head to the neck. It's another wobbly connection point, so just use the render on the back of the box as a reference. Skellywag #1 is done. Nothing too terribly difficult about this. You just gotta finagle the spine connecting the legs and the torso, and the neck connecting to the head is really funky, but nothing you can't just sort of eyeball and figure out using the render. But I shall call this one Rackham. The Artefactors Union. Brine and Bones Nightmare Edition, Molly Core Box. But pirates. We're going to go with Skellywag #2 this time. It is this artwork. And the render is this one. Here's our sprue. It's got a few more bits than the last one. I think we're going to go ahead and just start with the body like usual. We'll actually work our way down. So we'll do the head, then the stuff on the back, and then the arms. the knife and sort of flappy around the crotch area, and then we'll figure out the legs last. Start with the torso. We are not starting with the torso. We're starting with the hair, because I realize the sheaths need to connect to this piece first and then the body. The sheaths attach to the hair like so. You can tell which side is supposed to be the right side because on the sheaths is this little bit of hair here, so you'll know what side it's supposed to go on. Now glue to the torso. The forearms holding the swords are pretty similar bits, so in cases like this, just look for the thumbs. In this case, this bit over here is the right hand, and this bit right here is the left hand. Start with the left hand first, because as the swords cross, it'll actually be behind the sword held by the right hand. And add the right hand. Make sure the swords cross roughly at the center of the chest. Next, grab your left leg. You know it's the left leg because this part right here is taller than the one on the other bit. It was the bit that was right here. We're going to add this bit to it. Attach it like so. For the right leg, we're going to grab the boot, then jam the bone in there, and then this is the other side of the cuff of the boot. Boot and bone, it's not really going to sit right until you add the cuff, though. And that's what it looks like with the cuff. Next, we're going to glue the last bit of cloth to the right leg right there and connect it to this flat bit. And then add the left leg to that, glue the whole thing below her waist, and then put the knife on last. There's that. Pretty sure it's just a really fiddly connection that's only going to look good once you put the whole thing to the torso. I'll do this quickly just so that your connections are soft and you can nudge things into place. It looks a little better and makes more sense if you look at it from the back. Back view with the left leg attached, and the front view. Now gently glue it to the torso and nudge it in place with your knife. Now just add knife. Skellywag number 2 is done. Yeah, the difficult part really was just figuring out the order of operations on the legs. I think I did it the easiest way. You might be able to attach the legs to the torso before you involve the flap in any sort of way, but I wasn't going to risk that. You can definitely try it, but it is probably the prettiest one out of the 3. I shall name her Chang.
The Artefactors Union.
Yeah, I forgot to do the voice for the last one. Brine and Bones, Nightmare Edition, Molly Core Box, but it's pirates. We are at our last model, Skellywag number 3. There is no artwork. Our render is that. Here's our sprue. Seems pretty straightforward. I'm gonna guess we're gonna go with the torso, add the pelvis, do the 2 legs and foot. Then add the left hand, figure out the right arm. I think it's just these 2 pieces. Combine the head, put that on top. Torso. Add the pelvis. Add your left leg. The bit has a very obvious flat side that will connect to the shorts, I guess. Right about there. Just push it in with your knife. Should be good. Add your foot. Well, I completely misread the render, so this up here is actually our left hand, because the right hand is drawing the sword, so this is our right arm, and then the sword contains the right hand. Clip clean and add the left hand. Just be very careful, those skelly fingies are thin and fragile. I'm a ding-dong and assembled this incorrectly the first time, haha, so that's what I'm here for. This is the right arm, and yeah, there we go. You can see at the top there, the tooth is kind of wedge shaped, and at the bottom it's more of a traditional like a tooth shape. This is what's supposed to go in the shoulder socket, and this is what the hand attaches to. I accidentally installed it upside down, so don't do that mistake. Right arm. Other note, well, obviously the right hand goes into the socket up here. The sword will actually connect to this line right here. I'll give you another connection point. Add that sword. Hat. Skelly skull. So for the connection point, you can kind of see that there's a flat edge right there. And the neck stump is vaguely square, so that should give you an idea where the head is facing. Have at thee. And just like that, we are done with another Nightmare box. Brine and Bones. Skellywag number 3. The most difficult part of this, obviously, was missing the connection points on the arm and accidentally flipping it upside down like an idiot. But I'm glad I caught that, and you didn't have to make that mistake. And then getting the head to sit in place is also just a little bit difficult because, again, it's a spine. It's not that thick, hard to connect. I'm going to call this one Teach. Your Artefactors Union. Bonus episode, This Mysterious Hat. It's only got 3 pieces, so let's go. Start with your hat base. Add this leaf on top of this feather. Add this feather on top of this feather. It will be slightly offset. Next, add the front of the hat. Oops. That's what the connection looks like. Now just add it to the rest of the model and you're done. Okay, now that I'm done with my stupid joke, let's explain this. This model is Archie. He is Molly's bestest friend, or one of her bestest. She has a lot of best friends. And since they do the core boxes, he was kind of left out of the pirate theme. Now, Weird, being the wonderful company it is, decided that they wouldn't leave him out, and they decided to give us a hat. So Archie can play pirate too. They even gave him a new card. Archie? Archie. Archie? Archie.